Hare Krishna, devotees. Welcome to Shloka Day. Today's Shloka is Shloka number 15 of chapter 17. Anudvegakaram vakyam
Anudvegakaram vakyam
Satyam priyahitam chayat
Satyam priyahitam chayat
Swadhyayabhyasanam chaiva
Swadhyayabhyasanam chaiva
Vangmayam tapa uchyate.
Panmayam tapa uchyate.
Word for word meaning, translation and purport by His Divine Grace, Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Anudvegakaram,
Anudvegakaram,
not agitating.
not agitating.
Vakyam,
Vakyam,
words.
words.
Satyam,
Satyam,
truthful.
truthful.
Priya,
Priya,
dear.
dear.
Hitam,
Hitam,
beneficial.
beneficial.
Cha,
Cha,
also.
also.
Yat,
Yat,
which.
which.
Swadhyaya,
Swadhyaya,
of Vedic study.
of Vedic study.
Abhyasanam,
Abhyasanam,
practice.
practice.
Cha,
Cha,
also.
also.
Eva,
Eva,
certainly.
certainly.
Vakmayam,
Vakmayam,
of the voice.
of the wise.
Tapaha,
Tapaha,
austerity.
austerity.
Uchyate,
Uchyate,
is said to be.
is said to be.
Translation: austerity of speech
Austerity of speech
consists in speaking words that are truthful,
consists in speaking words that are truthful,
pleasing,
pleasing,
beneficial,
beneficial,
and not agitating to others.
and not agitating to others.
And also in regularly reciting Vedic literature.
And also in regularly reciting Vedic literature.
Yeah. So we finished austerity of the body yesterday. So now it is austerity of speech. Prabhupada writes, one should not speak in such a way as to agitate the minds of others. Of course, when a teacher speaks, he can speak the truth for the instruction of his students. But such a teacher should not speak to those who are not his students if he will agitate their minds. This is penance as far as talking is concerned. Besides that, one should not talk nonsense. The process of speaking in spiritual circles is to say something upheld by the scriptures. One should at once quote from scriptural authority to back up what he is saying. At the same time, such talk should be very pleasurable to the ear. By such discussions, one may derive the highest benefit and elevate human society. There is a limitless stock of Vedic literature, and one should study this. This is called penance of speech. From another parampara. Austerity of speech is speaking words that are truthful, unoffending, pleasing, and beneficial for the listener. The practice of the recitation of Vedic mantras is also included in the austerities of speech. The progenitor Manu wrote, Satyam bhruyat priyam bhruyan, na bhruyat satyam apriyam, priyam chananritam bhruyat, esha dharmaha sanatanaha. This is from Manusmriti. Speak the truth in such a way that it is pleasing to others. Do not speak the truth in a manner injurious to others. Never speak untruth, though it may be pleasant. This is the eternal path of morality and dharma. So the speech is actually very important for us, especially as practicing devotees. We should be careful how we speak. And I'm saying that to myself also. So oftentimes we get heated for no reason, and we spoil relationships this way. So we have to be very, very careful and judicious in what we want to say, how we want to say it, how we want to convey it. The best advice is that if you're upset, it's probably better to just not speak at that time. Take your time, understand the situation and probably then handle that situation. His Grace Chaitanya Charan Prabhu writes about austerity of speech. We have discussed on Vacho Vegam. This is actually from Nectar of Instruction. The first shloka of Nectar of Instruction begins with Vacho Vegam, Manasa Vegam, Krodha Vegam, like that. It talks about the 6 urges that a great saint controls that tells you that he is a great devotee, is a great personality. So we have discussed on Vacho Vegam. Materialists have the tendency to talk hundreds and millions of things, and the spiritual inclination is to keep the speech chaste and focused on Krishna and things related to Krishna. By agitating people, we will alienate people instead of educating them. Sadhu cuts, and the example given is Vidura speaks strongly through Dhritarashtra and cuts his attachments. So when Dhritarashtra, even after all his sons were killed, he lives under the protection of Yudhishthir Maharaj. Still, he's attached to wealth and trappings. So Vidura comes and very strongly speaks to him, telling him, it's time for him to leave and prepare himself for death. So that is good to detach somebody, but we can see that before that, Vidura had a deep and strong relationship with Dhritarashtra. And then when he spoke those words penetrated. Otherwise, the words don't penetrate, in the sense that you have to first develop a really loving relationship with that other person before you can open your mouth and potentially speak harsh words or the harsh truth to wake that person up. But simply speaking harsh words in and of itself without really understanding the other person, then the person does not hear your words anymore. They are only hearing your emotions, right? So we have to be careful. Sometimes when we chastise people, instead of cutting their anarthas, we end up in cutting their bhakti lata only, which means instead of helping them become a better devotee, we end up cutting off their creeper of bhakti because they feel despondent or dejected. We may think that I have spoken Krishna's message for the other person's good, but good intentions are not good enough. People should feel the trust in us. People should feel that we are their well-wishers. Then they will be able to see our good intentions. Otherwise, they will see us by default filter of suspicion and skepticism. And then they will feel our words are harsh and insensitive, and they may just close down and go away from Krishna by that. So even for preachers, this is very important, that even if we have to sometimes speak the truth from the scriptures, which can be very straightforward, unless we are a pure devotee, for example, Prabhupada never hesitated to speak the truth from the scripture. But we may not be in that position because we are not pure ourselves yet. So we have to couch the truth in different ways, in palatable ways. This is not only in Krishna consciousness, but in normal human relationships. Most of the conflicts in family and society comes because of carelessness in speech and insensitivity in dealings. We need not have to speak false, but Krishna is putting Satyam as second. First, he is putting as Anudvegakaram. Speak truth in a non-agitating way. Sometimes devotees say, Srila Prabhupada said, we should call a spade a spade. That is true. But we can see that Srila Prabhupada was also very sensitive in his speech. He was able to distinguish between philosophical differences and cultural etiquettes. Srila Prabhupada was cooking for Dr. Mishra in New York, although they have strong philosophical differences. And Dr. Mishra acknowledged that he survived by Srila Prabhupada's regulated eating habits, otherwise he would fall sick and would not have survived. So when Srila Prabhupada was living in a place given to him by Dr. Mishra's in his yoga studio, even though Dr. Mishra was actually propagating impersonalism, And Prabhupada was propagating the exact opposite, which is worship of Krishna and surrender to Krishna. Still, there are philosophical differences, but culturally, Prabhupada gave all respect to Dr. Mishra and vice versa. If we think preaching gives us license to speak harshly, then we have completely mistaken what preaching is. Preaching means speaking in such a way that people should come closer to Krishna. Sometimes we may have to speak things which are unpalatable to people, but that does not mean that we make a mission of speaking those things. Feedbacks can be in a formula of positive, negative, positive, which means anytime when you speak to others, you begin by recognizing all their good qualities, then you give them the feedback, and then you close the conversation with their good qualities again. So that way they are receptive to this feedback. This is also taught in the corporate world. When you give feedback, you always start with positive, then you let the person know what is it that they need to make changes in, and again you reiterate the positive again. By non-agitating speech, we help people to calm down. We help people to open their minds, open their hearts. Example, doctor's behavior should be such that the patient feels comforted and reassured. Swadhyaya bhyasanam chaiva, memorization of verses. It is not a burden for the head, but it is meant to unburden the heart. So not just memorization of verses, just chanting the verses of the Bhagavad Gita itself makes your heart lighter. So at the time of need, we can take shelter of these verses. The knowledge in the books is like money in the bank account. Knowledge and memory is like money in the pocket. Right? Knowledge in the books is like money in the bank account. But knowledge that is housed in your memory is like money in the pocket. You can utilize it for your own self and of course for the purposes of preaching as well. So here Krishna is talking about speech, satyam, priyam, hitam. We must be truthful, but it should be done in such a way that it is pleasing, and whatever we speak should benefit the other person.
If you like our videos, please subscribe to our channel and turn on the bell notification. If you'd like to join our classes every day, please check the details in the description section of this video. We look forward to serving you.